Holy moly. Okay, holy moly. Okay, so I apologize. I've not been doing anything. Well, I have been doing stuff. I have been moving. So I left Miami Beach and I decided I needed a change of scenery and I could not decide where to go. And I selected Austin, Texas, and I'm absolutely stoked I did. So my stuff is still not completely here. There's a whole story behind that, but some of my stuff is here, and this is going to be the first rare bits from Austin, Texas. And before I get going, two things I want to say. Two things that have made this transition absolutely wonderful. One would be these individuals at Lone Star Provisions. Thank you, Ashley Decan, very much. And Fresh Kicks IPA. These are not advertisements. These are from the heart. I did not know this when I moved here, but apparently Austin, Texas is the up-and-coming hazy IPA capital of the world, and the flavor profiles that they have going on here are absolutely fantastic. The city's electric. It absolutely is. There are people moving here for a ton of different reasons. And when I look out of my window, there are 7 cranes all on top of buildings that are over 30 stories tall. The movement that is upon us, that is happening both creatively and in the technical front, there are a bunch of tech companies here. It is interesting to watch how the city is growing. Some people are absolutely pissed about it. I get it. But the wave is here. It is happening. And I am so glad I am here. And I wanted to get into some things with you guys. And first, I am going to cheer my safe arrival because the trip was absolutely insane. So I am going to have a sip of this Real Ale Brewing Company IPA. And happy days to all of you guys. So let's get right into some shit. NFTs are down. Please believe me, they are not out. Bitcoin, it is dropping. My prediction is not what you want to hear, so we are going to move on from that. Solana ETF, are you kidding me? Bali Lampu Festival adopts Web3 tech with NFT ticketing. What are you saying? What is that festival? Well, it is a form of a Burning Man festival that happens in Bali, and it is electric. I implore all of you to check it out and go. And this is another question. Is anybody going to be going to Burning Man this year? It is a absolutely spectacular art event. It is filled with technology that amazes me. There are sculptures and things that you will see there that they do not permit inside city limits just about anywhere. So within that freedom, you will find magic. That is why this is absolutely amazing. So I am interested in learning more about Bali's Lampu Festival. We will dive into that in a minute. And some big balls are suing the SEC to get fair. SEC has been out of pocket, in my opinion. Everybody get your popcorn ready. And this is an interesting thought that I have been having. So everybody has seen the political debates. We know what's going on. We know that Joe Biden is in absolute slow motion, and it is not what a country needs as a leader. I think there is kind of this unanimous consent that that is happening. And I listened to this argument where people are saying there is no mechanism in place to overpower Joe Biden. I think what we have to think about is possibly for the first time ever, we will have the standing president and vice president step down for new, improved leadership. In my opinion, I think it would be super interesting to have Michelle Obama as president, and she could select possibly Gavin Newsom as vice president. That would rock the absolute world. Would it give the Democrats a chance to fight against Trump? I think what's interesting about this whole scenario is the sooner the Democrats decide what they are going to do, the better shot they are going to have to put up a good fight. Now, Everybody needs to remember that elections are very rarely decided in debates. People are able to have absolutely shit show performance in debates and still go on to win the presidency. So I think the Democrats need to have something up their sleeve. At the moment, I am voting for whoever is pro-crypto. So hopefully some people are going to see that, but I think we are about to see something that we have not seen before. We are about to set a new precedent. Will the Democrats get on board with cryptocurrency? That is going to be the linchpin across the board. Chaos to clarity, noise to narrative. It is Saturday, June 29th, and it is time for some rare bits. I am so happy to be back. Let's get into it. We have the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. It is down 17 degrees. It came in at a 30 this morning. NFT sentiment, it doesn't matter. That thing does not move. It has remained in neutral for quite a long time. I think that metric is busted, but I still continue to report on it. This is interesting. The top crypto search term for the normies today was Solana. The ETF, is it coming? It is enough to ignite fury amongst people who have no idea what the ecosystem is about. I want everybody to understand that Solana is such an easy token to acquire compared to some of the other meme coins. Okay, so the fact that normies are looking for Solana at this moment, a couple things. One, are we on the cusp of just magic happening? There are people saying that Solana is going to outperform both Ethereum and Bitcoin. I have reserved opinions about that, but if the ETF does come through, it will propel things in a direction that we all want to see. So top NFT search term for the normies is Midnight Society. If you know what that means, leave it in the comments. I will not read them. ETH NFT sales volume came in at, you know what, okay, so listen, this is how quickly this shit changes. I am not even going to report on these because these numbers I put in this morning in my Substack. And if you don't read my Substack, ask yourself, why not? Boom, it's that easy. Bitcoin dominance, it is coming in at 52.11%. It is up on the 24 hours, while the Ethereum dominance has slid a bit, coming in at 17.64. Total crypto market cap is coming in at $2.31 trillion. It is up about 1.24% in the last 24. We will take what we can get. And before we get into some more news, let us check some numbers for the nerds. And what we are going to do, as you can see, we are looking at the current mempool activity, which is one of my favorite screensavers, just one of my, it's the digital Yule log of the future. Let's get into some things. Look at the heat map. So we have turned around a bit. It looks like sentiment at the moment has fallen into the green. What are we talking about? Bitcoin is currently trading at $61,041. Ethereum, $3,387. BNB, $571. Solana, $141. XRP, 0.473. At the moment, quite a few things have turned around in the green on the hour as well as the day, though it has been a tough week for many people except Ton. Toncoin, I've been talking about it for a long time. I hope you guys have been listening and paying attention and getting into some of that action because there is still a ton of movement, in my opinion, for the future of that particular coin. We are now looking at some technical analysis on Bitcoin, and the signals are coming in neutral and sell and strong sell. These are on the short time frame, but it is interesting to watch where sentiment is. As I said, sentiment dropped 30 to 30 points. So these large drops, they're interesting to me for a couple of reasons. One, the sentiment gauge is oftentimes a lagging indicator of what is going on in the crypto market. But even though it's a lagging indicator, there's still some rhyme and rhythm to it. That is why I report on it every day. That is why I look at it every day, because you begin to see these fluctuations. And even though it's a lagging indicator, these gigantic shifts, either to the good or to the bad, are representative of news that is breaking out to the mainstream. And those are the people that are going to be our exit liquidity. No, these are the people that we need to adopt everything. So it is important to watch these metrics as they fold. So you know what, and here's another point, which is very interesting. I'm gonna do normally it's a coffee horn, but today it's an IPA beer horn. Now here's what I'll say also, is I report on these metrics all the time. And I'm in agreement with many that sometimes it's ad nauseum, it's absolutely boring. some people are looking at the NFT ecosystem saying, what are we even doing here? Why do I have an NFT as a profile picture? Listen, this magic that is happening, it may have been disrupted. It has not been dislodged. It will continue to move forward. I believe this to be so. We are just scratching the surface. And when I think about long-term viability for a lot of these collections, when I think where will we be future forward 10 years from now looking back, and I think that it may come down to 5 or 6 collections that are truly representative of this time, whether they were game changers, mind changers, mood alterers, or first people to do something. I think there's going to be different reasons we gravitate to these collections long term. And aside from that, I think it's going to be about taste. What do you like? What makes you happy to collect? And always keep in mind, there is only a certain amount of these. So if you decide to collect a certain collection that may be terribly down right now, just find some conviction and hold it long term. And we might all be pleasantly surprised at some of the outcomes. There are also some interesting things that I think could come into play as far as tokenization. What if some of these NFT collections decide to associate the NFTs with real world assets moving forward? We could be talking a year, 2 years from now. These RWAs could be digital. I mean, there's so many plays that could happen. We are at the birth, okay? So give it patience, give it time. Do not lose faith in what we are doing. Let's look at the NFT volumes by chain. Holy shit. Okay, so this is absolutely awesome because we're basically looking from April 2023 to April 2024. And even before April 2023, everything was parabolically up before that. But we are absolutely at the lowest level that we have been at, period. Currently, blockchain by NFT sales volume, we have Ethereum doing about $4.7 million, down 36% in the last 24 hours. Now, what's interesting about this is because I look at this stuff all the time, these giant shifts in the overall volume are not representative of a lot. They're representative of the attention at the moment. So there's not a ton of activity, and when that attention shifts, the market moves. What I have been finding super interesting about the blockchain by NFT sales volume is the new contender in this number 3 spot, which is Polygon. Polygon has risen above Bitcoin and Solana. It has not cracked out Ethereum just yet. On any particular day, it possibly could, but what are people buying and selling in the NFT ecosystem as far as Solana? Please leave a comment. I will not read it. Looking at the heat map for the Ethereum NFT side of things, and holy shit. Okay. So it's not as bad as I thought. Okay, so I'm looking at Pudgy Penguins. They have the number 1 pole position on the top left spot, representing a shit ton of business. I couldn't see Bored Ape at the minute because they were in the number 3 spot, and they are that deep, dark red that nobody wants to be. It's the color of wine on that white rug when your mom is out of town and you weren't supposed to have a party. Okay, I'm super happy to see Pudgy Penguins trudging along. Is anybody buying Ethereum NFTs at the moment? Apparently, MFer. Okay, I'm going to switch to Ethereum very quickly. So we have, as far as volume goes in the last 24 hours, we have Pudgy Penguins, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Little Pudgies, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, and Milady Makers rounding out the top 5. I have not reported for about 9 days as my shit has been in transition, but MFers, I am back. I have been watching this every day. It has been in my Substack every morning. If you aren't subscribing, ask yourself, why, motherfucker? Milady Makers, they are always in the green. How are they doing that? Have you bought into the hype? Are you a part of that ecosystem? The alpha that rolls out of those MFers is off the chart. What are you doing? Looking at the top sales that are notable to me for the Ethereum side of thing, we have CryptoPunks on the high end of thing. We had a Beeple 5,000 day sale. It sold for 25 Ethereum. That is about $86,000 in current market conditions. We had some couple Bored Apes sell as well as some Pudgies. The high end Pudgies are going for about $38,000, ladies and gentlemen, while the CryptoPunks are still in that 110 range. Do we see them fall further? I do not have an answer for that. Look at this heat map. This is the Solana heat map, and Mad Lads are back on motherfucking fire. Excuse my language today. I'm just happy to be in a new place. I was not a fan of Miami. Austin is a good spot, and I'm an instant fan. So here we go. Mad Lads are up 17% on the 24-hour, doing 87.99 Solana. That is a lot of cheese for the Mad Lads. What are we talking about? Mad Lads have their floor prices increased by 20% in the last 24 hours. Did some news come out that I am not privy to? If it did, I will report on this tomorrow in my Substack. Mad Lads trading at 89.31. Salamis is what I said. That is about $12,600. They got as low as about $8,900. I was watching to pull the trigger, and boom, I'm an idiot. SMB Gen 2, Tensorians, Froganas, and Gigabuds rounding out the top 5 as far as volume. And on the Solana ecosystem, as far as that volume goes for those top 5 collections, everybody is in the GREEN. Top sales for the Solana ecosystem is always dominated by Mad Lads. Do we need to deep dive onto that? No, read my Substack. Next up, we are going to look at the Bitcoin ecosystem. We have the OMB doing a shit ton of volume. Their floor price is up 17% on the 24 hours. We have Node Monkeys, Bitcoin Puppets, Runestone, Quantum Cats rounding out the top 5. As far as volume goes, everybody is in the green except Quantum Cats, but their floor price is quite high at the moment. Let me just click a button while we have you guys here. We are looking at sales on the 1 day. So Runestones have had 353 sales. How many pendings? Anything important? Nope. So Arsic Meta Protocol, I have not seen those in the mix. We are going to keep moving on. We're looking at the top sales in the Bitcoin ecosystem, and we have the OMBs. What's interesting, I report on these top sales all the time. And one of my ongoing comments is we had about a 37-day span, right, where there were continued OMBs in this top Bitcoin sale collection, but we never, ever had green eyes, blue eyes, or red eyes. It was only the newest edition, the gold eyes. So when I look across the board, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 green-eyed OMBs for sale. What does this mean? Are people getting in? Are people getting out? Leave it in the comments. I will not read it. Now let's get into the runes. Have they ruined your life? They've ruined some people's lives. What are we talking about? All of the top 5 collections are down bad. The worst collection is BAMK, and that is absolutely one of my favorite collections. Who spells bank B-A-M-K? It is one of my favorite words to say. It is down 35.91% on the 24 hours. Is this a time to buy? Arsic Genesis Rune down 2%. Doggo to the Moon down 3%. ZZZZ Fihu down 4%. Pups for World Peace. It is not working. They are down 9%. Now we are going to look at some of the top coins. This was earlier this morning. This is one of the reports I put out as a tweet. It is also in my Substack. As far as volume goes this morning, all of the top moving volume collections in this ecosystem were in the red. We have Shiba Inu, Pepe. We have Easy ETH, Arbitrum, Optimism, Lido. Everything was in the red. We did have a bunch of face-melting green candles. The people that made money yesterday, Jeffrey on Ethereum. We had Brew on Base. We had S-Boy on Solana. We had Mrs. Crash on Base. We had Kang on Ethereum. We had Peepo on Base and PayPay on Ethereum. All of these coins were up over 800% on the 24 hours. People were clocking dollars. I was not one of them. And now we are looking at some of the top declining coins in the ecosystem. Joe Biden, PacMoon, Borpa Andy, Lambao. It is so upsetting to see PacMoon down so bad. It's actually only down about 23%. So there's actually a swing that we can deal with. Now let's get into some of the news that caught my eye. NFTs, are they dead? Are you shitting in your pants with your bags? Have you, like many, exited the ecosystem completely and put your money into stupid meme coins and lost your shirt and now have absolutely nothing to show for it, versus the people who are just sitting with conviction on some of these NFTs, hoping for a long-term solution to this problem of oversaturation with art by artists who normally can probably sell 10 pieces of art in their lifetime, sold 10, 20, 30,000 pieces of art. What has happened? Are we going to be able to digest it? The verdict is still out. Many people, including the Super Rare CEO, says that NFTs are not dead. We need to find new cases for them. I am here for it. Let's see what happens. If anybody has ideas on where it's going, or tell me if you are investing in NFTs, I would much appreciate it. We have Bitcoin. It is consolidating. I talk about my prediction. I am looking at Bitcoin to hit 50K. My new prediction, updated this morning after some technical analysis, I'm thinking we're going to hit $53,000. And I am telling my mom and my brother that is the point where if it hits that number, I don't care if it goes higher or lower after that number, but $53,000 is an entry point that I'm happy for absolutely anybody to take long term. I do think we are going to see some hostility in the marketplace. A lot of this is going to be driven by geopolitical tension. It is also going to be driven by the upcoming debate and what happens with the electoral process. I'm thinking if we have another insurrection, I mean, there's so many things that can happen. Keep your popcorn ready. NFTs, we know, maybe in, maybe out. Bitcoin, it may be in, it may be out for the moment. We have John Bollinger from the famous Bollinger Bands. What is his quote? He is saying, following a 7% dip, Bitcoin is trading sideways between 60,000 and 62,300. He predicts a continued range-bound motion for the foreseeable future. That is what Bollinger says. Now, if you are a TA person and you do the Bollinger Bands across your technical analysis, is it your only indicator? Is it one of many indicators? Do you follow it? I list in my Substack prognosis that is positive for Bitcoin as well as negative, because I think it is really interesting to understand everybody's perspective. I like to look at the technical analysis for the good, the technical analysis for the bad, and mix in the sentiment, which is why I report on what the normies are searching for. What do they think about NFTs? What do they think about blockchain technology? Is it being incorporated into the voting mechanism? Is it being incorporated into voting fundraising yet? Is it talked about in the presidential debate? The answer for a lot of this is no, not yet. Is it coming? Yes. Will it be a hot topic as we get closer to the election? Trust me, it will. If Donald Trump can stoop up Joe Biden on simple questions, wait until he talks about digital currency and the magic that it possesses. Joe Biden will not know what to do. Okay, next up, we have Eric Balchunas, and he says the ETF for Solana is probably coming. It is going to, as many of the things in the cryptocurrency space, are going to hinge on the 2024 election. I would love all of you to please let me know, how are you leaning? Are you leaning Democratic? Are you leaning Republican? Do you have hot button issues that are around reproductive rights, marriage types, bestiality? I don't care what your hot button issue is. If you have a one issue cause, and that is the reason that you are voting for a president, please leave that in the comments and I will read it and I will address these tomorrow and we will run through some of them because I think this is really interesting. My continued thought on this is, and you can check my podcast, I said this probably 2 or 3 months ago, is that in my view, this is the first election where personally, I think it is a one-issue election. And to me, that issue is pro-crypto. Why do I say that? Because people that are involved in cryptocurrency to me represent the brightest people on the planet. Whether your ideology is not in sync with theirs, the way they look at math and money and equality is exemplary. And if we look at the government and we look at candidates that are pro-crypto, my belief is that having pro-crypto people in the same room talking about progressive topics like crypto and blockchain technology, those are the exact people we want solving problems like healthcare, medication, war, famine. These are the people that are solving the financial puzzle. Those are the smart people that we want working on all the other problems. We have buffoonery in power at the moment, and we need to change that. And I believe that crypto forward individuals represent our brightest shot at changing tomorrow. So that is where I stand with it. We are going to see a shit ton of movement off of this, basically knee-jerk movements. And the question is are you going to be playing these knee-jerk movements as they come? Are you going to buy the rumor and sell the news? Because there is going to be a huge opportunity. For instance, the first time that they actually do mention cryptocurrency in some of these presidential debates, we are going to have meme coins go absolutely bananas like we have never seen before. Next up, I talked about this in the intro. There is a Burning Man Festival-esque that happens in Bali, and they are embracing some Web3 technology. And I'm wondering if Burning Man will also at some point adopt this Web3 mindset. The Lampu Festival, it is held in Bali, and it utilizes NFT tickets and crypto payments for a secure and engaging attendee experience, showcasing the real-world utilities of Web3 technology. I think all of these initiatives are absolutely brilliant. We need to incorporate these things. As you know, many of these festivals are forward-thinking, and one of the things that they do is they are leave no trace. And if you truly want to leave no trace, why would you print a paper ticket that is required for entry? You are creating a problem. Let's fix the problems before they become a problem. Next up, what are we looking at? What caught my attention this morning? The SEC. Holy moly, big balls. That is what I love. So we have the SEC, and there's this awesome controversy over MetaMask, which I am on board for. SEC alleges that unregistered broker activities and unregistered security offerings happen by having shit move through your MetaMask wallet. It has sparked a legal battle, and the SEC has gotten one of those fucking notices. Is it a Wells notice? Is that the shit the SEC sends to everybody that fucking causes floor prices to crash? The SEC, your floor price should crash. MFers, Gary Gensler, you're a boob. So is your compadre, Elizabeth Warren. John Deaton, go John Deaton. Next up, what are we looking at? There he is right there. The current standing puppet, Joe Biden. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there is a wonderful piece that was recirculated on X, and I saw it because Elon retweeted it. And it is a caption of Joe Biden 12 years ago debating versus his debate performance last night. It looks like 300 years has passed since the two individuals answered very similar questions. The spark, the charisma, the ability to handle and maneuver with questions last night was gone. Previously, he was a fucking firecracker. He was somebody to contend with. That time has gone. Democrats, if you want a fighting chance, you need to change your knight in shining armor because the glare is starting to set in. The patina is replacing the shine. It is time to move on. There are so many corporations that have a limit to when you can serve. My father was an attorney. He got to a point and they don't let you continue. He was the managing partner and they're like, okay, dude, you can't come back tomorrow. Yeah, here's a watch. Get the fuck out. Like, thanks for your service, but it's time for the new breed to take over. And they don't let you come back. Not for anything. Your last day is your last day. Like you see those people walking out with the box. Whether you're getting shit canned or it's the end of your career, there is a time where you need to move on. I used to surf and I surfed big waves. And the last time that I got hurt surfing, I was unconscious. I got taken out by some people that were nearby me. I drowned. I was taken to the emergency room. And what I noticed about that is you get just a bit older. And I was continuing to surf the same waves, but at that same moment, I wasn't able to react as quick. And that half a second that you miss put me in really dangerous situations. And I decided I can't do this anymore. I've broken 3 ribs surfing because of the inability to perform like I did 10 years ago. So at some point, you have to slow your roll. And Joe Biden, it is time to slow your roll. And Kamala Harris, this does not mean it is time for you to pick up the torch, go hang out with your first husband and do some first husband things, make him happy, and let us get on with doing some shit. Next up, we have Shiba Inu, and they are warning the community about fake treat tokens. So Shiba Inu is constantly trying to come up with burn mechanisms because it is a token that is, there's Shiba Inu everywhere. So these MFers are constantly trying to figure out ways to burn things. I will update this on my Substack and the podcast tomorrow because it is a story that I'm following because one of my good friends is not a whale, but he's a holder of this and he is betting his life on it doing well. So that is one of the only reasons that I report on it. So if you're not a holder or you do not like Shiba Inu, I apologize, but just trying to keep it real. You know what's going on. Now, the secret sauce for today is one thing is for sure. If you don't play, you cannot win. Still craving crypto clarity? Subscribe to my Substack today. Warning, rare bits may cause hodling.